Okay, this is video 2 on the insulated concrete form construction. I'm going to have a little bit of a description of the house here, but obviously you'll be able to understand it much better as we go up, so I'm not going to describe it fully yet. I might mention outside the house here we're going to have a large 10-foot porch. So we have footers poured here down to solid soil because they now have some fill to support 1, 2, 3. These are going to be 16-inch diameter concrete columns all the way up to 16 foot high. The code requires not over 10 times the height as the diameter unsupported. So once it's up to the porch level here, it'll be supported in a poured concrete slab, and then we'll have 16 foot on up. So we basically had to use 16-inch. 12-inch would not have been enough. We have just a little bit of the plumbing rough-in installed. But this area here, basically we're going to have a door here. We're going to have utility rooms here. That'll be the main utility room, washer, dryer, furnace and everything. A bathroom, a possible future bathroom if we go as convert this into a tasting room for the vineyard in the future. And basically there'll be a hallway here. And on this side, which ends up being the southeast corner, is going to be a loft, a sleeping loft upstairs with up to, I believe, 6.5 foot ceiling. But it'll be like extra space up there with a spiral stairs going up here. And then from roughly, something like from about here on out, all this is going to be one giant room. We'll have a front door there, double front doors. Coming in, we'll have a fireplace here. The kitchen is in that far corner, which has a short 45-degree wall where the kitchen sink will be. There'll be a door to the outside there. And we're going to have giant folding doors. In this center, this is going to be a concrete column going up. We're going to have 9 foot of folding doors over here, 9 foot of folding doors over here. And eventually we'll probably clear out this woods and have a view down to the river. This wall here is about 6 feet high. This is probably not common for most of you, so I'm not going to describe it a lot. But this has a lot of fill in here. This is gravel, of course, gravel fill. Has a lot of gravel fill, which most people wouldn't need. And have a lot of fill dirt on the outside. We got the fill dirt from over there. We just made as people are coming up the hill to the house, we just dug into the hill to make a level parking area and turnaround area. And that was a handy place to get the dirt and just bring it up a little for this fill. So it worked out pretty good that way. Over here will be the kitchen. And we're going to have an island here. A kitchen island here. Now, as you can see back over there, that's the utility area. Let's say bathroom, coat room, furnace, and all those things. Then there's going to be the front door area there. And all this is going to have, this will have an 8, I think maybe it's 7 foot poured concrete porch all the way around here that widens out to 10 foot over here. We're going to have an outdoor, let's say, what do they call it, a cookering serving area with a door to the outside here. When they poured these, I didn't do these. We had local people do this. And actually, not surprisingly, there were 9 Mexicans that put up all these blocks in 2 days. And then another day, I don't know how long the other day, to fill them with concrete and install these rebars. So these reinforcing bars go up into the ICF walls. Double bars on each side of windows and doors. And then I think they put another bar every 3 feet. Obviously, if this is the door, this is in the way here. But that's no problem. We'll just bend them over flat so they'll tie into the floor. And that way it'll really tie in good. Okay, so there's nothing major that I have to... and of course, these blocks, these are 12-inch thick blocks here. And then on top of the normal courses, I put this final course of 8-inch wide, I think they call them the header block, which is made so the floor, when you pour the concrete floor, it ties into there. Now, here's the plumbing coming out. Here the code requires, and probably most places, for smaller pipes you need a 1/4 inch per foot of slope, but for 3 or 4 inch pipes you can use 1/8 inch per foot. And most of this, just the main sewer pipe here, has 1/8 inch per foot. The well is over there, and it's about 150 feet from the septic tank, which is right there. Okay, so this is being installed. This will be under the porch. We have to have a clean out here and a clean out on the end. And there's several branches on here that haven't been installed to the bathrooms and things, so we'll have to dig in this gravel. The main thing I wanted to show here is how these blocks are going to sit. Of course, this is how the workers left it. I may have done some of this, but there, I put those steps up to get in there. These blocks just sit on the walls here, and on the outside walls, we're going to nail, as they recommend, nail a 2x4 on here with probably at least 1.5 inches sticking up, maybe 2.5 inches down, 2 inches down and 1.5 sticking up to locate all these exactly on the concrete block walls. Okay, but here obviously they set on nothing, and which will be okay, but we don't want the concrete, when they pour these walls, we don't want to lose the concrete there. So I'm seeing what I have to do, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some pieces of, some sheets of, it'll probably have to be 3-inch styrofoam, and put them inside here to fill in this area so we don't lose it. Once we're going up, it should be no problem. Now, we'll see how this goes. Of course, for the corner, this will be cut out, but you can see we need to stop the concrete that goes in the top from coming out down here, obviously, and then the floor will be poured in this area to here. So that still gives plenty of support for the floor. We just need to control the concrete flow inside here. Now, that seems a little wobbly, but if I put the 3-inch styrofoam, 3-inch thick, right, the full length of the house here, and they'd only need to be maybe 4 inches wide strips, and then I can put large nails, say 4-inch nails, through here into the styrofoam to hold them in position so that it no longer wobbles, and get it all lined up. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention, which is going to be kind of an innovation, I guess, it's something I came up with and I haven't seen it recommended. You need bracing on these walls to line them up and hold them in position while you pour them. And most people are using commercial bracing, which we're not going to buy commercial bracing to build one house. And they say that you can also rent it, but I don't know of any place around. And if everybody's backed up on orders, they're probably also backed up on renting their braces. So I came up with the idea of, and you want a brace roughly every 6 feet, which is also the support up in the air for the scaffolding, which in this case will be walk boards that'll go inside, on the inside of the walls. It could be on the outside, but in this case we'll go inside because we have the gravel in there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to nail with what they call cut nails, square nails, of course, that nail pretty good into concrete. I'm going to nail 2x4s vertically here, roughly every 6 feet. On the corners here, I'll nail 2 of them. Here, one here, and one here. And that'll give me a really solid corner. And then I can brace it off on the outside here. Those will be the corner bracings. And then every 6 feet. And I'm going to do something novel that nobody has done that I know of. After every 3 courses a block, I'm going to notch into the styrofoam here, down 3.5, over 1.5 inches, up 3.5, and I'm going to put sections of 2x4 through the wall, through the styrofoam walls before we pour it, of course, and nail them to these vertical 2x4s on the outside. And if I find it necessary, I can nail them. I can put vertical 2x4s on the inside also, to have the whole wall system sandwiched between two flat 2x4s and tied together every 3 foot. So on the 9-foot wall, there'd be one a short 2x4 going through the wall at 3 foot, 6 foot, and then at the top, 3, 6, and 9 feet. And on that wall, then the one at 6 feet will support the walkboards. So it'll stick out that extra roughly foot, maybe 16 inches, probably 16 inches into the inside area. And then it'll have a vertical support there of 2x4. And it'll give us support for the walkboards. Now, I have figured out the inside dividing walls, interior divisions, and all the 2x4s that we need for the interior divisions are very close to what we need for all these walkboard and form systems. So we won't even have any waste. We'll just, once we get the walls poured, we take it all off and there are interior walls. Also, the walkboards end up being just about exactly what we need. We're going to have 2x8s supporting the floor of the loft area, which is going to be a loft above what we're going to call the office, and also a storage loft, getting fairly low, but good storage area above the bathroom that's over here. So we won't have hardly any waste of materials. And that way, every 6 foot, we can have a really true support. Now, those need to be adjustable, which we'll get into, to line it all up at the very end. And we'll do that with the bracing. But the main system, which is an innovation, is putting 2x4s through the walls every 3 foot, and for most houses then at the 6 foot or whatever, you want to stay down roughly 3 foot from the top of the wall. So let's say on the high side, the wall is 16 foot, I'll want walkboards up at about 13 feet, which I'll do with this same system. And then on the ends here, the walkboards will be sloping up like this, but I'm not going to do that. I'll slope the walkboards. I'll have a decent slope, and then I'll have a 1 foot step, which is still handy. Another slope up, another 1 foot step, and that will get us up to the correct height there. Once you see all this stuff assembled, you'll have a better idea. But this might be a really good idea for those wanting to do their own insulated concrete form home, and do it in the most economical way, and in this case, almost by yourself. One of my sons is coming on Friday. He's going to help me with a lot of this. We're trying to get some local helper, but basically everybody's busy in construction in this area. So we'll see how it goes. But this will be the basic system. Here, of course, this walls, where they have filled in a lot, I'll need to dig down. I'll probably go down 2 feet with the vertical 2x4s to have really strong. I was also a little bit concerned about putting all this up. This area doesn't have much wind, but just in case we get a windstorm, I didn't want the wind blowing it. But probably with the weight of the rebars in there, the horizontal rebars that we're putting in, that's not really, it'd have to be a real storm to do any damage. But with this wood system, then it's basically guaranteed that we would have no wind damage during the construction process. Now, if you live in an area with high winds, that's something to really consider. And you might like the system. We'll see how it goes. This, of course, is going to be the main entrance to the house. It'll have a fill here once it's all... we have to have the pressure test for the septic once it's... for the drain system once it's all installed. And these will be the columns. And over here, I didn't mention that, we have what they call bar joists. These are used, but these are going to go between these columns up above and coming out from the main house wall to the columns. So these are going to be what we're going to sit the roof trusses on. Now on top of these have, of course, these will be setting up on edge. These are already cut pretty much to length. They need to be cleaned up, painted with rust converter and paint. Have these ends cleaned up, so they look nice. And when we do the block walls, I'm just going to leave. These will go into notches in the wall, but I'm not going to put them up yet. I'll just put styrofoam blocks in the wall where these are going to go in, and then later we just dig the styrofoam blocks out to have the space to drop these bar joists into the walls, and then of course we just fill in that area with concrete to tie it all together really well. Anyway, it was an interesting building. We're calling it the Welcome Center because we hope this will be a vineyard in the future. That's how they got me interested in it, because I like to grow things. And so this will be our tasting room, which is why we want a big open floor plan. And it'll be a place that people can stay, my family can stay in while they're building their houses or whatever, but eventually, maybe in roughly 5 years, we might be having it turning into a tasting room. It could also be the winery temporarily. There's enough room on the porches and stuff here to have storage and things. Anyway, we shall see, but as I say, you'll get a lot better idea of what the house looks like as we go. And one of these videos I'll show a floor plan. Okay, so I pretty much have the idea, so now I can figure out how much of that 3-inch styrofoam we need to fill in that space, and I need to get the list of all the interior wall 2x4s and 2x8s for the floors, and then also the list of how much we need for the scaffolding, and whichever is bigger, order that number of 2x4s and 2x8s, and the styrofoam, probably 3-inch thick styrofoam to fill in that space at the bottom so we don't leak concrete out. And once I get them, we'll be ready to start stacking these up. So I'm assuming I'll get those things ordered and delivered probably tomorrow. So the day after tomorrow, I can start stacking up. Meanwhile, while I'm waiting on any of that, I'll start assembling a lot of these blocks and hope I don't get a windstorm in these next few days. Okay, so that's the basic setup we're starting with to see how it works to build our own insulated concrete form house with, as I say, with a novel, what do they call them? Novel bracing and scaffold system that might be practical for do-it-yourselfers.